Hey YouTube, I want to do a video today giving my impressions on two handguns in my collection that are among my favorites. I told you a couple weeks ago that I bought the Sig P239. This one happens to be in .40 caliber. I bought it used. Got a really good deal on it. And the other one's the Glock 26. So I know we're comparing a 9mm to a .40 caliber, but that's really not what I'm talking about. I want to talk about my impressions of these firearms in terms of concealability, firepower, that kind of stuff. First, I want to say I went shooting today, took them both. Shot 200 rounds through each. Both case Winchester white box, .40 caliber, 9mm. Both of the firearms just flawless. I mean, you'd expect that, right? I mean, you don't expect the Glock or the Sig to be a finicky eater or anything like that. Super accurate, both of them are. For me, I'm very used to the Glock trigger, and especially in single action mode, the Sig trigger was really nice. There's no question about it. It's got a very nice trigger. Really nice firearm. Matter of fact, it's the first Sig I've owned, and I'm very happy with it. But I wanted to give you some impressions of the two firearms in terms of some other issues. I think I have to say that, again, they're both super high quality. Fantastic. There's lots of differences: alloy, stainless versus polymer, and steel. So the Glock is lighter. It's, I think, 19.75 ounces unloaded versus the Sig 25.6 ounces. So that's a big difference. The other real difference is size. Both these weapons have been safety checked. Okay. So let's just, for the sake of responsible gun ownership, there's no magazine here. Okay, firearms safe. The Sig, no mag. Okay, everybody's happy now. Okay. In terms of size, what's the real difference in size? Well, let's just line them up like this. Okay, if we put them like that, we can see right away there's not a real big difference in terms of width. Okay, they're real similar. Overall length is similar to the Glock's, maybe a hair shorter, just a little bit, maybe a quarter of an inch in the back. The Sig does have this hammer that you have to contend with if you're going to carry it concealed. There it is right here. That sticks out. The biggest issue, I think, is the height of the gun, or the length of the grip. I think the Sig is over an inch longer. Okay, I think that pretty much tells you right away that the Sig is going to be slightly more difficult to conceal. But having said that, certainly they're both concealable. If you buy yourself a good holster, they're both concealable. But in my experience, this last part of the firearm is the most difficult to conceal, as well as anything that can stick out like this, that can print. Okay, Glock doesn't have that issue. Now, having said that, in terms of shooting, unless you're used to these subcompact Glocks, this short little handle or grip throws some people off. You have to be able to grip it with two fingers and leave that third finger sort of hanging down below, and you need to have the ability to grip that well. You get used to it. It's not really an issue. I shoot it all the time, and I don't use Talon grips or anything. I just shoot it the way it came out of the box for the most part. It's not an issue. The Sig grip being a little bit longer, I think people feel like they can grab it better. You certainly can get more of your hand on it. I can get most of my pinky on that grip compared to the Glock, where that pinky and my middle finger is about halfway off of it. You can see that, okay? But the Glock points in my hands are, for me, very, very well, and actually so does the Sig. I just think in terms of if you're going to use it for concealed carry, you're going to have a bit more of an issue with the Sig. The biggest issue really comes down to the number of rounds you can carry. The Glock's a double stack magazine. Now let's pretend the magic of YouTube. This is actually a Sig P239 in 9mm. So in that case, you'd have 8 rounds in a single stack magazine. Okay, so 8 plus 1, because you can leave one in the pipe. That gives you 9 rounds versus 10 plus 1 in the Glock 26, 11 rounds. So you have a bit of an advantage in firepower. All things considered, I think they're both very reliable, very well made firearms. There's no question about it. Anybody that says that one is not well made, or they don't really know what they're talking about. Comes down to personal preference. I think the Glock 26, in terms of a concealed carry gun, has a slight advantage in terms of its weight. You can have more rounds in it, and so you have more firepower even when the calibers are equal, and it's more concealable. The Sig P239 has very nice ergonomics. It's very well made, as I keep saying. I can't stress that enough. But the length of the grip, it's just too long, and the fact that it has features like that hammer that stick out make it more difficult to conceal. But I like the Sig P239, I have to say, for all you Sig guys out there that are going to have an absolute fit that I said I think the Glock 26 has an advantage. Don't get upset. I think the P239 is a really nice gun, and I can tell you that it'll be just part of my collection. I think, there's no question about it. I will wind up with more SIGs. I'm actually really curious about the Sig 1911. I live in Massachusetts. It's really hard to find high-end or really well-made, brand-new 1911s. Some of the only 1911 manufacturers that you can have in Massachusetts are Smith & Wesson. I have one of those. They're really good. You can get an Auto Ordnance, which I've heard mixed reviews on. And then the Sig 1911. Those are Massachusetts approved, so whatever that means. But so you can't get your Kimbers, you can't get Colt, no Springfields, so you're kind of limited. And I prefer, unless I get my hands on something like this that's used and is a really good price, I'd rather buy a new firearm. So I'm curious what people think of the Sig 1911. So that's what I have to say, not much else. The other thing is, I was wondering if anybody else uses this product. Ezox Gun Care. It's all-in-one synthetic gun care product. I'll do a review on it. I got using this when I bought a C-Camp. I did a video on that. It's a small little pocket mouse gun. It's in 32 auto. It's a fantastic firearm. But there's some issues with it in terms of it being really small. You don't want to gum it up with grease. So the manufacturer, C-Camp, suggests that you use this product. It's an all-in-one product. And I've been using it a lot now to clean my guns. For guns with metal bodies, I still like to, or frames rather, like my 1911s or even the Sig. I like to put grease on the rails. I even put a little bit of grease on the Glock, tiny little Glock rails as well. But it has a dry lubricant that seems to really last, and the rust corrosion is really good. It's kind of like a modern ballistol. I guess there's a lot of hype on ballistol. I've never tried it. Okay, tell me what you think. Thanks for watching.